Hello everyone and welcome. I am Exothermic. I am with the Scaleworks server. We're going to be doing a video today on the Acid Spitter Hatchling, followed by the Juvenile, then we're going to be doing the Adult. So this is our Acid Spitter. We have it selected here. What we're going to do is we're going to switch the gender to male and we're going to change the skin to crimson. And also, if you don't have our Discord yet, you can get our Discord by clicking this link right up here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and spawn on in. We will be spawning in as an egg. And it looks like we might have a fairly decent spawn location. So to hatch our egg, we're going to click E. And there is our hatchling. And also, luckily for us, it is day right now. So that's going to help us out significantly with finding what we need. So once we get into the game, let's first go over the buttons that we need to click. W is going to be to walk forward. W and shift is going to be to run. Now the Acid Spitter has something special that the Shadow Scales does not. If you crouch and then walk forward with the shift button, you can sprint. So that is very useful. It allows us to cover a lot more ground than we normally would be able to. You also can move side to side by moving your mouse around. You can also use A and D to do that. If I press Alt, it'll turn me around. Alright, and also, one of the most important things for any of the dragons is your interface. To access the interface, we want to click I. So this shows us our vitals, our armor, our heritage, genetics. It shows habitat, biology, and mutations. With habitat, it shows our location. That is very important, especially if you're hatching in and you ask for help. They'll need to know where you're at. That location and the coordinates, 112.4 south, 53.2 east. That is my location. Also, our vitals down here. We have our hunger and our thirst are already rising, so we're going to need to take care of that pretty quickly. Thirst will always rise faster. You also have your health here. Now, if my thirst or hunger gets to 100% or my sickness gets to 100%, I will start to take damage. I will die from that eventually, so I want to make sure I find food. Alright, let's sniff. To sniff, we're going to press F. That's going to allow us to find water and food easier. I have a feeling where I can find water. I can see it right in the middle of my screen there. And I found food as well, so that's good. The blue lines represent water. Those pink lines right there represent a living entity or prey. So I already know where prey is at, and I already know where a water source is at. We need water most right now, so we're going to run this way. Now, another important thing to note is if it is night, I'm going to want to press the V key. The V key is going to allow me to see in the dark. It's my night vision. Now, I'm going to press E to drink here. Alright, now let's sniff again. Let's see if we can find prey around this area. It's probably going to take me back over there. Alright, so we do have prey this way. Now, as a hatchling, you can hunt. However, I'm a little bit too small at the moment to be able to keep up with them. I do need to grow just a bit. So we're going to explore this area a little bit. I'm pretty sure I know where I'm at. And because of that, we're going to take a little trip. So if you were a Shadow Scales, this would be a lot more difficult to cover ground. The Shadow Scales is a lot slower. It's meant to fly, so it's not meant to run on the ground as much. The adults can move fairly quickly, but not as fast as the Acid Spitter. That white bar down at the bottom of my screen that's been decreasing as I've been running, that is my stamina bar. So eventually here I am going to have to rest, and I'll show you what buttons to use for that when we do rest. So we're going to go ahead and press R. That's going to allow us to sit down. Now to also rest, I can go ahead and click R to stand back up. And I can do R and Shift. R and Shift will allow me to lay down completely and go to sleep. This is very important for whenever you are sick. And you get sick from eating the bugs. Those are a main food source right now, so that you do have to eat those. Another resting animation that we can do is we can hold R down. That will allow us to just lay down like this. Now let's go ahead and stand up and let's run again. It's always going to be more difficult to judge the landscape when you're small like this. But I have a pretty good feeling that the big rock, which is the location on the map, is just ahead here. Yep, there it is right there. I ran past it earlier. So as you can see, down at the very bottom left-hand corner of my screen, that is my grow bar. So it has increased quite a bit since we've been running. Need to get just a little bit bigger before I can hunt. By the time I get where I need to be, I'll be able to hunt for myself. So we'll go ahead and rest again, because that stamina's out. So since that is the big rock, there is going to be a spawner this way. Now, I do need water in the right-hand corner of my bottom right-hand corner of my screen. You do see that water droplet. That's telling me that I'm getting significantly low on water. So I do need to find a water source, and there should be one right up here. There it is. So you ever see these big mounds like this off in the distance? These usually will have water for you if you are a hatchling. After you make it to juvenile, these little ponds aren't enough to sustain you. You cannot drink from them. You will have to find something else. Water was at 55.8%. We're going to decrease that all the way down to 0, and then we're going to start hunting. Now, I am still a little small for hunting, so we're going to give it a shot. See if we can pull off a successful hunt. You can always survive as a hatchling. You can always survive. It just takes time. Gotta be patient. That little mound that I'm running to is where bugs will spawn. So one will probably run past us here, and that's what I'm kind of hoping for. Nope, none around right here. Ah, there's one right over there. So they do run incredibly fast. However, it looks like I will be able to keep up with them. I think I just landed 3 hits. That's a first. Aha, we got it. Now that was easy. Alright, we're going to use E to eat. Now in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen, you're going to see a green icon appear. That green icon means that I am poisoned. There are toxins spreading in my system. In fact, if I go into here, sickness is 2.9%. That is going to increase as I eat. And notice my thirst was at 0 just a little bit ago, and it's already up to 15%. Gotta watch that thirst. Alright, my sickness was at 11.8%. We're going to run around a little bit. We're not even going to take care of it. What you should do is you should lay down and go to sleep. That'll get rid of your sickness. But for the sake of this video, I want to show you what happens if you do not. So we're going to run around a bit here. So this location on the map, like I said earlier, is called the Big Rock. If you ever hear that term, this is what people are talking about. And if you notice, my screen's getting a little fuzzy. That is not a graphics issue. That is actually happening, and it's because my sickness is increasing. If I go into here, my sickness is now at 35. It just jumped up to 38.6%. Your screen will become extremely fuzzy with time. All we have to do to get rid of this is R and Shift. That is going to allow us to lay down and go to sleep. As soon as our sickness has stopped spreading in our system, we will get that message right there. Toxins are no longer spreading. And that 45% will start to drop. So at this point, you can let the toxins go all the way down and the sickness disappear entirely, or you can just go on. If you're hungry or thirsty, I would go ahead and grab a drink. Now, there aren't any around here, but is another type of food source. There are mushrooms throughout the game. The most common one that you will probably end up seeing as a hatchling are going to be red mushrooms. Those are okay to eat. In fact, they're a fantastic food source. The only difficulty with the red mushrooms is when you eat them, they will increase your need for water by a lot. So if you're going to eat one, make sure you have a water source nearby. If you're already thirsty and you can go without, do not eat those red mushrooms. You also have blue, yellow, and green mushrooms. Green mushrooms are okay to eat as a hatchling. They will increase your food, they will decrease your food and water need, and they will also heal you if you are damaged. The yellow mushrooms are meant for the shadow scales. However, we suggest not eating those until you're an adult. They will decrease your food a little bit, so in desperate times you can eat them. But they are for the eldering dragons. I think that's all for this video. We'll follow this up with a juvenile next.